Just because someone looks fit doesn't necessarily mean they're healthy. Most fitness influencers are just trying to sell you habits that hurt their audience. Hi guys, welcome back. I know I haven't been on this channel in so long. Life has happened to me, and so there are so many things that I've been working on in 5 months, I think, since the last time I posted. I know it's been a bit, but trust me, we are getting back on the groove. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalia Paparides, and I love to talk about everything health and wellness and also romanticize my life. We are going to be talking about the effects of fitness industry as a whole and why I think that people are now getting misguided with information that just doesn't pertain to their goals. Anyways, let's get into it. First point is we're going to be talking about detox drinks and the TikTok shop cash grab. As many of you guys know, TikTok shop is a huge thing on TikTok, and a lot of people are always promoting new products every single day, trendy new things. Detox teas, detox drinks. A lot of people who are on a weight loss journey, they look up to these products, and most people believe that these are things that will help them in their fitness journey. A lot of good products out there, and there's a lot of bad detox products. The number one thing is people fall for these products right away, thinking that those products are going to be the cheat code to their weight loss journey. And I, as somebody who did TikTok shop, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite sitting here yeah, anyone who promotes TikTok shop is weird. Girl, you did it yourself too. But what I will say is that the difference between selling a product and actually knowing that it works, that's where people get tricked up, because they assume that just because a video has so many likes, so much engagement, so many comments, saves, and people in the comments are like, oh yeah, this is so good, in the review section, just because it looks great doesn't mean it will work for you. And ultimately, that's what happened with Teami, which is a TikTok shop product that I recently found that got a lot of allegations from FTC. She investigated Teami products because Teami was known to be the all-day slimming tea, realizing later on that a lot of the reviews that they found out were actually robots. Yeah, reviews of them saying, oh, it's such a good drink, were actually just robots commenting that and not real people. And in today's age and time where we have AI, different bots, that is insane. We have to be aware of that. And honestly, again, this whole Teami consumer explanation, people were saying how they used fabricated, unreliable scientific chemicals in these products that weren't good for your body at all. Just trying to get money off of their audience, period. Point blank, period. That's the whole conclusion to that story. Most products won't actually detox you. I think another huge thing is that your body is already detoxifying because of your livers and kidney. If you drink a lot of water, you are already detoxifying the bad toxins. Mind-blowing, right? The influencers are going to be promoting these products because they earn commission, right? But the big thing here is recommending it to see if it actually works. Looking at those influencers and seeing, okay, are they using those products all the time? Do they have testimonials? Do they have results from these products to show proof that that is a good supplement, that it actually works? So key advice here is health should be evidence-based, not commissions-based. All right, next point is extremely low body fat isn't the goal for most women. We see this day to day. Skinny TikTok, we've seen this trend from decades ago as well, but it's rising up again on bodybuilding and competitors. Now, I want to clarify, I respect bodybuilders. I love their hard work that they do, all of their discipline. It takes a dedication to get to that lean physique and being shredded and just overall maintaining that weight. But I will say that that is not sustainable all year round. Now, key word here is all year round. And that's where people get fumbled, okay? I think the problem with a lot of the audience that watches bodybuilding competitions is they think that the mini cuts that bodybuilders do. And basically what a mini cut is, if you guys don't know already, is a short aggressive fat loss phase which lasts about 4 to 6 weeks, typically ranging like a month and a half. And it is when you are dropping fat like really fast, rapid speed mode to get to the physique that you really want, and it is for a short period of time. Now, where do people get mixed up? They think that they can do that for a whole year. Keep in mind that these people are competing, all right? They are at a whole different level, and physiques are temporary, and that's when, you know, you see those photo shoots, you see the good lighting. That doesn't mean that that person looks like that all year round. Talking about women and specifically body fat, body fat is an important aspect in our life, and I think a lot of us tend to overlook that nowadays. This plays a lot of things in our body functioning. Hormonal, sleeping pattern, longevity, and bone structure. There was an article on PubMed talking about why body fat is so important for our bone structure, because it protects that layer. Older we get, our body tends to, you know, lose a lot of energy, and so that is why it's so important to have body fat. Shredded does not mean that you're automatically healthy. There have been cases where people drop down to literally 10%, like women specifically, okay? I'm not talking about men because men have a whole different body function system. The healthy amount of body fat percentage is actually 25%. That could also range because of athletes and, like I said, competitors. Athletes tend to be around 14% to 20%, and then for fitness, like influencers, fitness models, it's around 20 to 23%. 25 is recommended by doctors. Fitness should support your life, not consume it. Okay, the next point is we're going to be talking about what I eat under 1,000 calories. No, I do not eat under 1,000 calories, but this has become a thing on TikTok. So let's watch this video of this girl that ate under 1,000 calories. All right. Soy sauce, okay. I wonder if she's tracking the sauces. My question. I mean, the breakfast looks good. It's just like, is that enough? Might be enough. Wait, did we just skip lunch? I don't think she even showed lunch, guys. Guys, she didn't even show lunch. This is definitely not considered sustainable or healthy at all. That she's promoting, which is an extremely low calorie diet. Audience gets misguided. They assume that this can be sustainable for all year long, when, like I mentioned previously with the bodybuilding, that could be temporary, but also she could be editing things out that she's not showing to us, not seeing the whole picture. And most active adults, they significantly need more energy. And constant restriction like that can really lead to poor dieting and really bad relationship with unhealthy foods as well. Eating more isn't failure, it's actually great for performance and our health overall. And ultimately for me, like especially like because I've dealt with this myself, I've noticed that if I count every single calorie that is needed and I'm not prioritizing my health as much, and that will lead to a lot of chaos, much problems with calories and food noise and binging. That all can be so toxic, and so it's best to see where you're at, because I know intuitive eating and mindful eating has become a huge thing as well, but that is something I want to talk about later in other videos. When it comes to restricting, really remember that key here, especially if you want to accomplish your goals, you want to be able to have a balance, okay? Eating is necessary for your health and performance. The next point that we're going to talk about is the problem with fake natty culture. Clarify that you do not need to unfollow these influencers. You do not need to go bashing in their comments. But what I want to preface to you guys is that I want you guys to be aware of who you're watching. And so many influencers have claimed to be natural, okay? I'm not saying that every single fitness influencer is not natural, but there has been a spike in what fitness influencers are using nowadays. Substances like steroids, PEDs, Retta, anabolics, testosterone, peptides, Ozempic. That's a huge one right now that's trending. The problem isn't necessarily the use of those things itself, because I believe that those can be good things for whatever goal you have in mind, okay? But I think the issue here is transparency. People not being honest about what they use and claiming that everything that they do is all natural. And a lot of research is being done on a lot of those substances, especially Ozempic. And so I kind of wanted to tell you guys briefly, because I did take notes on this and I did do a study, which I will link that resource right here, and then I'll link it down below as well if you are interested in reading about this article. And for many of you, if you don't know what peptides are yet, it is a string of molecules called amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. It's usually 2 to 100 amino acids long. And the benefits of it is muscle growth, skin, hair, anti-aging, and of course, fat loss. But researchers have been developing different ways to have peptides as a treatment. And one of which from the researchers was done is from WebMD. The types, the uses, and its benefits, one of which that there are natural peptides. Now we've seen this like collagen and peptide formulas, they'll sell the protein powders with collagen and peptide. So peptide in itself is not bad. And I'm not saying that all of the treatments and the injections that they have been accumulating are bad, but they are not natural, such as Ozempic. Ozempic is not natural. And that is like GLP-1, people that have been injecting that into their bloodstream. So a little bit to talk about what is Ozempic. Ozempic is an injectable medication for type 2 diabetes. It contains active ingredients like semaglutide, a peptide that naturally occurs in the gut hormones. So that is why a lot of doctors are now recommending these injections into people who are really obese. And I think that is such a benefit, because in my opinion, obesity is the thing that kills people. It will give you like cardiovascular problems, cancer, all of that. If you're someone that's trying to stay natural, I would just stray away from those things. But if you're someone that is interested in taking these like peptides, it is very important to follow creators that have transparency and are honest with what products they are using. And I think that's why the whole fake natty culture stream has become such a huge thing, because I have seen so many influencers that are not honest with what they're taking, and they claim that everything they do is just a lot of hard work, and it gives us unrealistic expectations and comparison. Because I'm telling you, if someone out there is saying that you can eat this amount of calories, you can do this, that doesn't mean it will work for everyone. Which one of the influencers that I've recently found, Amelia Desley, she did recently come out with her whole story of how she went on peptides, and she basically explained everything, and I loved how authentic she was to tell her audience. But I think coming from a point where when you showcase, a lot of people in the comments were saying how she didn't say that before she even went on it. It would have been nice if she said that on earlier rather than later. And of course, I know a lot of you guys will be like, okay, but she is not obligated to tell her audience. But I do think that if you have such a big social media platform, you should be able to understand that everybody's looking up to you. They are inspired by you. They're going to be taking your advice. So rather than, let me just say it when the time is right, I personally think that's something that you should tell people first on, rather than telling them later and lying to them and leading them into these unrealistic expectations that you said you did naturally, correct? But that is my strict belief. Be honest with what advice you give out there and to your audience. All right, last advice, and this one is going to be less about criticism because I want to end it off on a very good point. Choose advice based on your goals. Like I said, not every fitness influencer is wrong, but when it comes to goals, really pick what your goal is. The problem isn't following necessarily the creators you follow, but taking their advice. Their goals are different than yours. A competitive bodybuilder, a fitness model, or an athlete, they all train and eat differently. Of course, like I said, those goals all differentiate on a different spectrum. For a bodybuilder, you know, they're gonna go on these mini cuts, while a athlete might have to go on a huge bulk for a couple months. Everybody's goals are very different, and depending on what your goal is, that's where you determine who you take advice from, and being careful of looking at their routine and seeing, of course, their authenticity, because it is hard to find people who are authentic and honest nowadays. But I think figuring out what your goal is, that's the number one thing you should do, and then you can base it off of who you follow. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't follow certain fitness influencers just because their goals don't match with yours. I think it's great. I follow a lot of fitness influencers who, you know, have a great personality, and I like their videos because of their fun vlogs, but I don't take their advice when it comes to what my goal is. If your goal is, for example, if you want to be healthy, maybe don't follow the rules of someone that is, you know, on a very aggressive cut. You're gonna ask me questions like, okay, well, who should I follow then? What is the person's goal? Does their goal match mine? And is this lifestyle sustainable for me? The best fitness advice, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So, reminder that fitness is not a one-size-fits-all industry, because everybody's goals are different. So choose a creator who is aligned with your goals. Alright, if you enjoyed watching this video, have seen a fitness trend that has been making you question about it, definitely let me know in the comments. I will be sure to make more videos, making sure you stay hydrated. Summer is here. I'm like beyond grateful for the weather right now. Outside, it has been so hot out, and I love heat. I love the sun. Make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for many more. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!